I don't know who need to hear this here, but I ain't got no sympathy for you, nigga. I ain't got no sympathy for you at all, nigga, cause you done laid on that bump, nigga. You done wore them shackles, nigga. You know how I feel to be wrote off, man. Nigga, hug your motherfucking self, nigga, and get up. Get up, nigga. Don't nobody owe you nothing. The world don't owe you nothing, nigga. If anything, they gonna open that motherfucker and kick you back in that pit of hell, nigga. You better tighten up, my nigga, and realize, my nigga, I don't know who need to hear this.
What's up, YouTube? We back, man. Today, I want to thank you guys again, man. Hit like, follow, subscribe, hit the notification button. They told me about hitting that notification button. That's important. And also, if you got a loved one doing time in prison, send them a copy of Street Elements magazine, the #1 magazine publication in the nation, especially in federal and state prison. Especially in federal and state prison. All right. Today we're going to talk about, man, the crack era. You know, let me show you something. The crack era. All right. This Kevin Childs book, one of the co-founders of Don Diva. The crack era. The crack era affected so many different lives, all right? And I'm going to give you an insight of what type of damage the crack era did. Now, I was born in 1973. So by the time 83 came, I'm 10 years old. So basically, I'm 10 years old, and this is the start of the crack era. And this is what happened.
Shooting jumpers and whatnot. Business must be pretty good, huh? Oh, it will be, brother. Beat this out. Free bait, so what? Yo, man, you know the rules. Us brothers don't be getting high. Shut the fuck up, man. They just tried to call you a non-talking bastard. Money, you been making money off the side of the family?
They cut off a light, and they cut the lights back on. And boom, then you got crack. Just like that, everything changed. Not just in Tampa, Florida, or in Florida, all around the country, things changed just like that. Now, we used to hear about crack on the news. You should be talking.
Is there anyone out there who still isn't clear about what doing drugs does? Okay, last time. This is your brain. This is drugs. This is your brain on drugs. Any questions?
And back then, some of our family members, like my mom and other people, was talking about crack and how it was just destroying the community, how it was just coming in and things were changing. Now, before crack in my neighborhood, it was a kingpin named Clifford Wise. We used to call him Boss Hog. He basically had a weed hole in our neighborhood. He had a weed hole, a weed spot. Now, in his weed spot, that's back when you was getting 4-finger dimes, meaning this was a dime bag. If you had a plastic bag, it would be 4 fingers all the way across, or a 2-finger dime all the way across, all the way right here, full across with reefer. That was, you get that much for $10. So you got a big plastic bag, you'll fill it up about this high. These days, about 7 grams, or almost down to 7 grams for $10 back then. You spending $20, you down to getting a half ounce of reefer back then, $25. That was the game back then, right? And this was a very lucrative operation going on. See, Boss Hog, he had an operation where he was set up on the corner, and from all 4 directions, he had traffic. Now, believe it or not, Thursday, Friday, Saturday night, man, it's almost like a drive-through. You ever seen a Chick-fil-A drive-through? This how his drive-through spot was going back then in the early 80s. Well, when crack hit, that was amplified 10 times. Meaning a lot of people who was buying weed back then in the early 80s, a lot of them started converting over to crack cocaine. Because nobody at that time really knew the long-term effect of crack cocaine. Nobody really knew. Nobody can really tell you what was going to be the downfall of using this drug over long periods of time. You know, that's just like now. You got the Molly epidemic. You got Molly out here now. Nobody really knows the long term.
I don't know. It just I smoke Molly and Tune is 2G, K2, whatever you want to call it. But people like, why you do that? Why you hustle just for that? Well, we use some type of substance or whatever, keeping us going or mentally doing it to think. We mentally do it to think to keep us up to go. Keep going, bro.
The long-term effect, nobody's really consciously thinking about that. The same thing about heroin. Some people got on heroin in the 60s, and right now to this day, that habit still travel with them. And it's 2024.
It won't clog the needle.
Let me see. So how much that is right there?
This is like 20 cc.
Now, you remember his was way more. You see what
Yeah,
I'm
but
saying?
see, now I've been doing it since 69.
Right.
You know, and I don't want to, you know,
You already
much. You see what I'm saying?
Cause you're OD.
Yeah.
Have you ever OD'd?
I go with these several times. I had, yeah, you have too. But now the quality is not as potent as it used to be in this.
Man, 60 was.
So this is what I'm trying to get y'all to understand. Nobody really understood the long-term effect. People were smoking weed. Most women got hooked on crack from a guy that they was dealing with. Most men got hooked on crack from a woman that they was tricking with or a woman they were trying to be with.
And reverse the game.
About what year this was when this happened, when you met this chick?
This was like 1990, hold on, like 96, 98, like 98. Yeah.
98?
Yeah, 98.
So basically you were tricking with a chick?
Trying to, and hanging out. She tricked me, you know, but I was like laughing, you know what I'm saying? I give her the phone, give her everything, and then every time trying to get some. No, stop, no, let's just hang and chill. Let me talk to you, let me be your mentor. Okay, yeah.
She was older than you?
Yeah. I'm 52 now, so she probably like about 54, 55 right now. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So how that encounter happened? So y'all were just chilling, she basically...
At the motel, Village Motel right down here on 40th. Village Motel like by Salem Road.
This is how most people got introduced to the drugs. Either the males from the females and the females from the males. Now, in my neighborhood in Tampa called Mellowville, and like I said, in my neighborhood, it was a guy named Boss Hogg. He was the kingpin in our neighborhood, and he had a weed spot. Once again, when crack came in, it was so much more money coming in that he wasn't able to control it. And then you had other guys who was working for him at the time. They realized that they could make more money selling crack. So some of the guys that was working for him started getting their own little package of crack. And eventually it was a big confrontation up on the corner. I can remember vividly. One day Boss Hogg said to, I think it was Aunt Brown, you ain't gonna bring that crack up here on my corner. You ain't selling that shit up here on my corner. He said, if you're gonna sell that, you need to take it down the street. So that's when everybody in my neighborhood went up top to 40th Street. They went up to 40th Street, up there by the laundromat, and they set that up as the crack hole.
Nigga come with 20, nigga. Owe me a dub from last week, fool. Oh, nigga, what is that bought from you? You gonna trip about that? Come on, man. Go, man, I got $2 for you, man. I know I'm a little short, but, you know, you motherfucking fool, nigga. Come with 20, nigga. Come with 20. I ain't got nothing. Come on, man. That nigga's money back.
It just hand in hand, it just money coming from every direction. Everybody up there trying to make a dollar. All the young teenagers in the neighborhood and guys who had just got out of high school, this was their opportunity to start making money in that neighborhood. Now remember, all this traffic came from the original weed spot. Remember, all them clients that was originally buying this weed from Boss Hogg, they eventually started smoking crack. Boss Hall didn't want to convert over to selling crack, so all his clients went to started purchasing crack, and eventually he had to cross over and start selling crack. He had to. He had no choice. The market had done changed. Nobody wasn't buying reefer no more. Weed had basically then went extinct. Only a few people were still purchasing weed. It wasn't the drug of choice no more. You had other spots like 29th and Lake, 22nd, Central Park, Ybor City, Lucille. I mean, every part of the city basically got taken over by crack. It was just like a wave, all right? Now, these are some of the things that I witnessed as a youth. I had a couple of friends of mine that, when we was young, like I say, 10 years old, we used to go over their house and play over their house and climb trees and ride bicycles and jump ramps. And even sometimes we go over there early Saturday morning, their mama invite us in the house and cook us breakfast, feed us, and send us on back outside to go do what we're going to do. I can vividly remember, bro, a partner of mine, it was two brothers, that their mom, the same one used to cook me breakfast, I seen her and her husband, I seen her herself, walking down the street, selling her body.
What is it for me to do? The only thing that is for me to do is walk up and down the streets and ask people for money, and we get in trouble for panhandling. So what else can we do besides selling our pussy? That's a no-no. We don't want to do that because we females and we respect ourselves. That stuff, other stuff that these guys want us to do, it belittles us.
She did when I was younger, sucking on her chest just to stop my fucking hunger. I wonder if I died, would tears come to her eyes? Forgive me for my disrespect, forgive me for my lies. My baby mother's 8 months, my little sister's 2.
Please, black man.
Both of them. I swear to God, I wanna just slip
Yo,
in this bullshit.
Fuck you, man.
I love you too, Sandy. Yo, you say crack to someone who's pregnant. Fuck a pregnant bitch.
Now, how hard this can be for a young boy who at the time is maybe in junior high school, because I'm probably about in the 6th or 7th grade. And so they like in junior high school, his older brother probably like in 8th, 9th grade. And now your mom out here selling her body. And we all as kids, we have to see this. Not just his mom, but many other of my friends' moms in this neighborhood that we was growing up with was dealing with the same issue. And many of the fathers got on drugs. Now, in this neighborhood, many of these men, they was head of household. They were construction workers, plumbers, contractors, truck drivers, carpenters. Any type of trade that you can think of, a lot of these men at the time, they had these skills. But when crack came in, a lot of these men lost control of themselves and their family. A lot of the kids that was 16, 17, 18 years old and kind of already in the streets, moving around in the streets, they got hooked on drugs. So if the mom didn't get on drugs, if the dad didn't get on drugs, one of the kids got on drugs.
Somebody tried to somebody put the shit in the damn in the on the jar. It was weed on there, but he put crack on there. That I've been stuck since then.
That really works.
Say that again now? On the jar with aluminum foil, he put crack. I thought it was weed, but he put crack on there. And I've been stuck since then.
What kind of jar? What you mean?
A jar with rubber band with aluminum foil with holes in the top of it.
And you thought it was weed?
We were smoking weed off it. And
like
then,
a hookah, like a
yeah. And when he ended up putting crack on it.
So somebody tricked you?
Yeah.
So you didn't know what he put on there, you just
No, I didn't.
anticipated
in the 8th grade.
I was peer pressured into it too by
Was it one of your peers?
No, one of my brother's best
family
friends.
member. I got peer pressured by a family member too.
So basically, he tricked you to smoke crack.
Right.
You 16. How did that affect you? Like, you think that had a big part to play in your situation?
Yeah. They made me a downfall.
You haven't been able to shake it?
Nobody to
No,
get on it.
I have shook it, but then you got to learn it, maneuver it, then get into it, and then what's your name? But it's just something. It's something to do. It's like a hobby.
I have to have it.
So you was basically in junior high school.
I was at Greco Junior High School.
That's been a long ride.
A very long ride.
So this what was going on during the crack era. This was a critical time in our life. The crack era. And anybody who lived through it and seen it, you understand what I'm talking about. Crack affected four generations. 4 generations of families have been affected by crack. Especially in the 80s, the 90s, the 2000s, and up to today, there are still people being affected by this drug that came out in the 80s. That's just on the use part of it, just using the drug. We're not talking about how many people got convicted for possession, sales, and distribution of the same drug. Let's talk about the crack laws that was put in effect in the early 80s, which once again was put in effect to target us, the black and brown people. And if you was a white guy and you got involved in it, guess what? You called casualties of war. That means that you shouldn't have been over there where we was at anyway. That's how they look at it. So you're casualties of war. So they look at y'all just like us. You know? But crack cocaine is one of the worst drugs ever to hit this planet, because it done affected so many different lives for so many years. So many families have suffered from this drug.
The money from your pockets. Make you sell the watch off your wrist, the clothes off your back.
Or kill your mother. Yep, that's what we're saying.
On the streets of New York, it's called crack, and the deals go down quickly. You've just witnessed a buy. This form of cocaine comes concentrated. It is smoked rather than sniffed. It produces an intense high within 5 to 10 seconds that lasts only 5 to 10 minutes and leaves the user craving for more.
And this is the most addicting thing that probably ever existed in the world, you know? It will make you a slave.
Leroy Johnson.
Like I say, it's 2024, and you still have people who's been on crack cocaine since it first hit in 1980, 83. Now that's a hell of a drug. You see? And then it broke down the family structure. That was the key design, if you ask me, for crack. Because once you was able to break down the family structure and demolish it, now you didn't have to worry about people as a group being able to build for long periods of time. Because once you break up that family structure, there's no consistency of the plan to keep moving forward. So let's say, for instance, when crack hit, your dad had a construction company and he was a contractor and he was building stuff. If he got on crack and his sons weren't of age to keep it going, that business that he started is going to go down. You see, it's going to go down fast. If the family structure is broken up, the wife had to divorce the husband because he's out here on drugs, or the husband had to divorce the wife because she's on drugs, you breaking up family structure. And this is what has happened to us over these 4 generations. We have no more structure. So that's why you have independent women, and that's why you have independent men that everybody feels as though they can't count depend on one another because we've been separated. We've been divided. And crack cocaine is one of the key tools that they use to divide us as a people.
All these reports, are they overblown? Are they exaggerated? Is this as much of a problem as we're being led to believe?
It's an interesting question. I got transferred here 6 months ago, and one of the first briefings I got from my staff in New York was on crack. And my original conception, I remember it very clearly, was this is a fad that may be being overblown. I've completely turned around in the past 6 months. I think it is very close to becoming the drug of choice in New York, but I think more importantly, because of the reasons it has become the drug of choice in New York, I think we are in a position of in the near future, it is going to become one of the drugs of choice in the United States.
How much time was given out for crack? I mean, we just say, how much time in prison has been given out for crack cocaine over the past 40 years? Come on, bro. Come on, man. And not even that. Not even that, right? By being addicted to a drug like crack, look at the other scenarios that come behind it. The robbery, prostitution, drug overdose, disrespecting of your family, robbing from your family, no trust amongst anybody anymore. You got moms leaving kids in the house by themselves for weeks because they chasing drugs. You got fathers leaving their whole family to go chase drugs and chase a high. You see? So the crack epidemic is one of the worst things that I think, and I think y'all will agree, that ever happened to our communities as a whole. And like I said, me, myself, I got into selling crack just because it was available. I'm 12, 13 years old, and I got another 12, 13-year-old kid around me telling me that I can go make me $100 real quick. I'm going to be influenced to do it. I mean, why not? He doing it. And I don't see no wrong. Ain't nobody told me I can go to jail yet. People just walking up handing you money for a piece of crack. We naive at the time. It's not until later on you get in the game that you realize that it's possible that you can go to prison. But when somebody first put crack in your hand, you're not thinking about going to jail. You're not thinking about that. Only thing you're thinking about, man, I can make me a few dollars. And that was the naive part about it. What they say, ignorance of the law is no excuse. Yeah, but how many 10, 11-year-old, 12 years old, 13-year-olds thinking about the law or even know that ignorance of the law is no excuse? We were set up for failure, bro. So, this is just one little video. I'm going to come back with another one just talking about the crack era and how it affected our communities as a whole, and especially the city of Tampa. Make it happen or you cap it. And also, man, look at here. You've got a loved one doing time in prison. Make sure you send them a copy of the #1 magazine publication in the nation. This is a throwback issue. Make sure you send them a copy of the #1 magazine publication in the nation. If you got a loved one doing time in state or federal prison, you send them a copy today, right? All right? And also hit like, follow, subscribe. Let's push this platform to 100,000. Make it happen or you cap it.
I don't know who need to hear this here, but I ain't got no sympathy for you, nigga. I ain't got no sympathy for you at all, nigga, because you done laid on that bump, nigga. You done wore them shackles, nigga. You know how I feel to be wrote off, man. Nigga, hug your motherfucking self, nigga, and get up. Get up, nigga. Don't nobody owe you nothing. The world don't owe you nothing, nigga. If anything, they gonna open that motherfucker and kick you back in that pit of hell, nigga. You better tighten up, my nigga, and realize, my nigga, I don't know who need to hear this.